Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mark from Solar Games, and today we're going to talk about Commander Masters. I know. Everyone's like, Mark, why are you refusing to talk about Commander Master? Mark, why? Talk about, give us the Commander Masters. Look, the reason why I don't want to talk about it is really, honestly, there's nothing to say. Like, I've pretty much said all I have to say about Commander products in general. This is the general direction that Wizards deciding to take, and for the people who love Commander, who love cheap cards, who love everything being where it is, hey, guess what? You get another chance to buy Doubling Season, Great Henge, all this other cards. For the people who don't like this kind of direction of Commander focus, well, guess what? Suck it up, Buttercup. If you want to play limited, all that stuff, you better like limited Commander games, because that's pretty much where we're going to be, right? As you can see, Wizards kind of like moving away from Planeswalkers, one Planeswalker per set, which, by the way, I don't think that's a bad change. I do think, though, that it's just it's like splash damage, right? Like it's beneficial for the limited players or whatever, for the collectors, only because they're really just focusing on Commander play. They're not really caring about like us, right? Now, Commander Masters, okay? Of course, as of filming of this video right now, we are on Thursday night. For those that don't understand what that means, basically it's the day before the official release, right? So on websites like TCG Player, people can't, like normal people, like me even, non-brick and mortar stores can't list their inventory. Well, they can list it, but it won't go live until today. Or technically tomorrow, but like, look, it's based on East Coast time, and I live on the West Coast. It's like 10 o'clock right now, so at 9 p.m., they all go live. So at this point, effectively, it's live. Now, if you're selling eBay, you could have pre-sold items for a long time, but if you're selling TCG Player, the brick and mortar stores do have an advantage over like your just random sellers and whatever. The whole pre-release thing is kind of confusing to me, / a mystery, / I think it's kind of weird and archaic, and I don't know why we still do it. Different topic though, right? Anyways, of course, if you check prices right now for Commander Master, it may look like the sky's falling, and that's to be expected. I know, like, Mark, did you see the price for Commander Master's collector's booster? It's like it's falling off the sky. Yeah, guess what happens? When all that inventory comes to market, everyone's going to start bidding each other one down, right? That's what happens. This is all expected. Don't worry. This happens every single set, right? Like, we don't think it's a Commander Masters market crash. This happens to every single set. It will depend, though, heavily on how Wizards prints the set, right? So, obviously, this is a MTG finance channel. I'm here to tell you what to do with your money, basically. So, I'll address it in 3 different ways. First, we're going to talk to the player. So, if you're a player, and we're going to just be like small-time players, you don't want to spend a lot of money, you don't have a lot of like free capital liquidity to go and dump much money into cards, this is kind of an interesting time. I would recommend go to your LGS, play a pre-release or play a release, play whatever games this weekend, have fun, enjoy it. Play lots of events. You're gonna basically, I looked through the cards list, commons, uncommons, rare. There's a lot of good cards in there, right? So if you play just any event, you're going to have some cards that you're going to enjoy. I know it's a little bit expensive. Like, I think most stores are offering like, what, $60? It's a lot of money. Anyways, $60, like, you build your Commander deck, you play with other people, it's kind of fun. What you take home, though, is still going to be very valuable. There's quite a bit of good commons and definitely a ton of uncommons that are good, not including any like possible good rare. So if you pull any of the good, mythic rares or rares, hey man, you're basically, you're good to go, right? So obviously, that part is kind of exciting. So if you just want to kind of like enjoy Magic, I would say this is a good time to do it. Look, the price is not super low, but it's also not super high. And the value of the cards are there. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to get some cards back that you can then build your deck. And even if you're a newer Magic player, this is actually a good time to go and play this set, because a lot of these cards you can then directly bring back and upgrade your current pre-constructed Commander decks or whatever you're building on, provide you with other material for your new decks. It's just really good stuff, right? Obviously, though, be careful if you're chasing certain mythic rares. Just be careful. There is this whole, secret rarity. Like, we don't know until maybe a couple weeks in, when lots of the mass box opening happens and you see what comes to the market and what the prices, how that looks. basically, look, look. I've already made the videos on like secret rarities, and I know some people are over here like, no, Mark, there's no such thing as secret rarity, and I got people over here saying like, no, Mark, there's like, you're wrong. It's actually 1,000 to 1. Like, there's only one for every one jeweled lotus they print. They're gonna print you 1,000. I don't know, whatever, like omnaths, right? Locus of mana or something like that. It's not that extreme, okay? It's also not this where it's all equal. I can guarantee you I've opened enough product to understand that it's not like that at all. What I can tell you is that the ratio is probably like 1 to 2. I don't even think it's 1 to 3. That's pretty extreme. All they have to do is tilt it just slightly. 1 to 2 is pretty high already. And if they have certain rares that are just a little bit more rare, like half of, you print for every 2 cards of something, you print 1 of those. And if that card is also high demand, guess what's going to happen? It's still going to feel like there is a huge like supply gap, right? It's already going to happen because look, certain cards are always in high demand, certain cards are always lower in demand, and there's going to be that, demand gap. But if they just slightly tweak it, the math, the rarity, the drop rates, whatever, then of course those cards are going to be more expensive. So there's that. Now, if you're looking to pick up singles, still talking to the players, my recommendation, the prices are starting to come down. This weekend may be the best time as more people go play events. They pull whatever, Great Henge, cards that you need, they put it on the market to sell. Not a bad time, right? So honestly, Jewel Lotus, $60, right? Just wait a little bit more. You might even see another dip this weekend. 40, 50, doubling season, all the good Commander staples that a lot of people want, need, whatever. You're going to have a good chance to go and purchase those this weekend. So my recommendation, hang tight, wait for some of the prices to come down. And then probably this weekend, between this weekend and next weekend, you're going to have a lot of chances to go buy these cards. Some of the off days, by the way, so that you don't fight with other people, are like Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Because Sunday night, when people like finish the pre-release or whatever, finish the events, they're going to be salty as hell because somebody pulled like a Ulamog or whatever. So they're going to go home and buy that Ulamog. So you don't want to fight with those people because, people who are salty, they're just going to open their wallet and spend. So you wait until Monday when the salty people got all the stuff they want and everybody else who pulled extra Ulamogs or whatever, Sliver, Queen Lord or whatever, the Broodmother, are like, I don't really want this card. Guess what? You're going to have a good price entry to those cards. So buy the singles between this weekend and next weekend is probably what I would recommend, given what I'm seeing, right? Okay, talking to the whales now, the people who want to open the whole set, chase a certain card. Still, my recommendation, buy the singles, right? Of course. But if you want to open booster boxes, right now is actually not a bad time because, again, right now, this moment, you're going to go into a weekend of frenzy of people going and buying cards. So that supply will meet demand, meaning like it's not going to be, look, there's going to be some people who are like going to hold out, right? But there's a bunch of people who are going to FOMO like crazy. And they're going to, once they see that card drop by $1, they're going to buy it. So you're going to have good chances to open your box and actually basically get the whole value out and then plus some extra cards. Look, it's a lot of work. I don't recommend doing something like that. And it's high risk. So if you do plan on doing something like this, the whales, just be ready to open more than like a case, I would say, maybe 1 to 2 cases. You're going to average out pretty well. The problem usually happens when you open just 1 box or 2 boxes, couple boxes. You may hit some duds and then it's going to feel really bad. So opening more than a case usually evens and averages you out much better. That's what I would recommend. Okay, for the investors, this is a little bit tricky, right? Like part of what I'm seeing now, and as I'm looking at like listings on TCG Player, it does look like there's a bunch of cards and people who are selling them. But the crazy part is they have a lot of inventory. Now, I don't know because you can list whatever. I can go on TCG Player right now and say, I have 1,000 boxes of Commander Masters, right? Collector's Booster, Set Boosters, whatever. As you can see, all the prices are dropping. And I can list infinite quantity, right? The tricky part will be going into this weekend and going to next weekend, seeing what happens with all of the actual like depth of like inventory. Because are we going to have a situation where sellers who got good allocations suddenly run out because they sell everything? Or are we going to have a situation where Wizard decided that they're going to print like crazy, like Double Masters 2022, and there's just extra inventory coming to market? I mean, in fact, there will be so much inventory that these stores will kind of start wanting to dump later on. And that when that dump actually happens, that might be the best time to come in because look, it's going to be below market. In fact, if they need to raise capital for Wilds of Eldraine and Ixalan, Caves of Ixalan, and the Lord of the Rings set coming at the end of the year, those things might happen, the dumps might happen, and then you're going to have a good chance to go buy sealed product that you want to hold. I don't know. My recommendation, master sets always much riskier if you believe, like double masters, right? Why that product skyrocketed in price is because they short printed everything, right? Wizard of the Coast was taking a risk or testing the market with double masters. They didn't know if the product would sell because they set it at such a high price. They're like, are people going to buy it? So they didn't actually print that much. And as soon as people opened the boxes and said, wow, you get like good cards, Toxic Rain, all this stuff, right? I'm going to basically say, hey, this is great. I'm going to buy more of these boxes. People will start going into the market and grabbing these, right? Even at $350 to $400, I remember, people were grabbing them. So of course that thing went up to like $500, $600 as soon as supply ran out, and nobody, no stores, no LGSs, Amazon, nobody could get more. That's what happened with Double Masters Original. That did not happen with Double Master 2022 because Wizard was much more confident in how many boxes they can sell, so they printed a lot. And I'm going to tell you right now, like for those that don't, like I'm currently working on some stuff, and I feel like I can bring some Double Masters at a very good price to a lot of you guys who are watching, my patrons. So stay tuned for that. I feel like there's going to be something special coming either this month or next month. I'm trying to get everything lined up for it. We'll see, okay? So there's that, right? Double Masters, a lot more inventory. My guess for Commander Masters, the inventory should be pretty high. 2 reasons. 1, Wizard of the Coast needs to post really good like sales because guess what? They're going to hit, this year they need to hit it out of the park. Hasbro has been kind of down, and Wizard needs to continue that very bullish indicators. If they, they became a billion dollar whatever line of product, whatever brand last year, they got to continue doing that, right? So they have to continue delivering $1 billion. They can't underprint this product because they short print it, then likely they won't capture the entire market, right? So that's my guess. Number 2, given the initial amount of products that each seller, these sellers are listing, and they're not listing at like mid or high end prices, they're listing at low, meaning they're chasing the bottom and trying to get the quick sales, tells me that there's actually a lot more market or product in the market currently. So I'm a little bit cautious. I actually, in fact, took 0 inventory of Commander Masters at all. So, because I kind of foresaw some of this happening, and I felt like the distributor pricing, even though it's low, wasn't quite low enough for me to be comfortable with that kind of investment. I'd rather put my money into something else, right? So that's where I would say use a lot of caution if you are going to be, investing in this product. I would kind of sit and chill and see what happens, especially, any product. Like originally I would say collector's boosters, you're probably okay because, they're like, limited edition, limited quantity, whatever. But it doesn't look like that's the case right now. And it's about like $180 and still falling. So who knows by the end of the weekend, which I will update you all. So, we'll put a timestamp in this. Today is, what is this, like 3rd, 2nd? Today's 2nd or 3rd? Whatever. 2nd of August, 3rd of August. Okay, August 3rd. Collector's boosters are like basically $180 now, $185 on TCG Player. Let's see what happens on August the 7th, like that Sunday or, Monday. We'll see if the prices are much, much lower. But that's what I would say about Commander Masters right now. As you can see, Wizards pushing, full speed, pedal to the metal, like, basically all gas, no brakes for Commander products. People who love Commander, this is probably going to be the best time of your life. You're going to have access to all these cards. Wizard of the Coast at this point looks to be reprinting every single thing they could, which is great because you can play the game and it's going to be very cheap. Just do understand that everything you buy right now, though, so if you look at doubling season, you're like, hey, it's $44. It's great. It's the lowest it's ever been. Great, right? You buy the card. I'm going to tell you right now, with the rate of reprints and the way that Wiz is going, that card will never be $40 again. It probably will be $30, $20, $10. It just keeps going down with more and more copies of it being printed in the future. just be aware of that. It's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, but just be aware of that and, use caution whenever you buy a lot of them. Don't start, I wouldn't spec on any cards. Personally, I know there's a lot of people who like doing that stuff, but I would not do it. So there's that. Okay, cool. That's going to do it for me for today. Mark Solo Games. Hey, I hope you guys are enjoying Commander Masters, and I hope you enjoy Commander. It's a fun format. It's just, it's not really for me, right? Stay classy.